Oftentimes on my channel, I don't get an opportunity to talk about the unsung heroes that thrive and live amongst us. But whenever I do get a chance to do so, I always want to make sure that I highlight them. And that's what I'm going to do today. This one is going to be a happy but also sad story at the same time. And I think the sad part is the one that's going to get a lot of people. So the kid in this picture name was Corin Brooks, and he was 16 years old, out of Atlanta or Cobb County, and he risked his life to save his friends from falling into an icy lake. Basically, it was thin ice, so the ice cracked, and that's like a scary situation to be in. He managed to help his friends out, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, and he passed from the conditions. So I'm going to go ahead now and read this article coming from Fox 5 Atlanta. For almost 2 hours throughout the evening of December 28th, authorities swarmed a small Kennesaw lake where nearby residents say they witnessed a tragedy. In the blink of an eye, a group of children playing on what they thought was sturdy ice were screaming for a child who fell through. The teenager who tried to save the boy did not survive. Corin Troy Brooks, age 16, is being remembered as a hero according to his aunt. Corin was playing with a group of 4 friends on top of Ellison Lake near Lakeside Vista Apartments. One neighbor, Alex Pollard, he noticed the youngsters out there while bringing in groceries around 5 p.m. It looked pretty sturdy at first, so I didn't think much of it, Pollard said, adding that the pond doesn't appear that deep at that end. However, moments later, neighbors said they heard screams. We see 2 kids trapped in the ice. One of the kids was holding on to the other one, Pollard said. Pollard yelled for his roommate to call 911, and the Kennesaw Police Department were the first to the scene. Officers were able to pull one of the 2 victims out to safety. He was taken to a hospital to recover. Firefighters got involved in search for the second boy, but it was not until 6:50 p.m. that they were able to locate him. Though they tried efforts to resuscitate him, the boy, who family later identified as Corin, did not make it. Corin's aunt, Brandy Wells, told Fox 5 that her nephew was just trying to help the first boy who fell into the lake and drowned. Corin saved his friend's life, but the cold, slushy, iced water was too much, she wrote in a GoFundMe. And I'll leave the link to the GoFundMe in the description. Posted to help the family with funeral costs. Corin got caught up in debris under the cold water and didn't come up. On the first day of 2023, Wells said the family was still not ready to talk to the media about their loss. Instead, she shared a quote from Corin's mother. Corin's life is an important symbol of bravery, as he had saved another's life. For Corin, life will be the remembrance of hope and victor. I love you, son, and I am proud of you. Wells described her nephew as a genius who loved video games and maintained straight A's as a junior at Kennesaw Mountain High School. She said he was bright, helpful, shy, and funny. He had teachers, friends, and family who adored him, and a charming smile that would light up any room. And it says, in order to help the family cover funeral costs and relocation fees for Corin, Wells created a GoFundMe shortly after the incident at the writing of this article, and the fundraiser sat at $5,557 of its $30,000 goal. And by the way, this article was posted on the 1st, on New Year's, and I'm recording this on January 4th, 2023. First, before I get into it, let me offer my condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of this kid. It's not the easiest dealing with a situation such as this, where you have a young life that's taken away in such a very, what I'm sure for him would have been a very tragic and torturous way. Because I couldn't have imagined, being in those Arctic conditions. I'm sure that he probably tried to find his way out. But the thing about them, that ice and that water underneath is so cold, and you literally, it's hard. It's like your body goes into paralysis, and it's hard for you to really move like that because it gets to your bones. And it's like when that locks up, it's hard to move. And they said he got caught up in the debris. So, him trying to fight all of that, plus deal with Arctic conditions, and then trying to find a space to climb out, like that's a lot to deal with. It's not like he was in a lake or something like that, and it was like the spring or summertime, where it would probably been easier for him to maneuver. And then I'm sure he was panicking. So he probably most likely went through a lot before he took his last breaths. And notice they said it was around 5 p.m. and they didn't find him until over almost 2 hours later. Over an hour later is when they found him. And he probably had already been gone by that time. You know, so it's just really unfortunate, but at least he died a hero. He saved his friend's life. And I'm sure his friend is definitely going to be indebted to him for the rest of his life. It's just unfortunate that he's not here to tell the story about how he was able to be a hero and save his friend. It's just, this is like, it's like I said, it's a happy story in the sense of him saving someone, but it's a sad story in the fact that he wasn't able to save himself. But you know, that's just crazy how life works. The story really reminds me of the wrestler. I can't think of his name right now, who saved his son from those currents. You know, those water currents are dangerous and intense. Like even Olympic swimmers probably can't swim in those currents because they're so strong. I say water is a very powerful force in nature. And he saved his son, but the currents were so strong that it literally swept him back out the sea to where he pretty much drowned. And you gotta think, like, this is a wrestler, a person who was very athletic and very fit, but all he thought about and cared about was saving his son and nothing else. If he basically said, if anything happened to me, it happens, but as long as I can save my child, that's, you know, that's what it is. So again, I offer my condolences to this boy's family. R.I.P. to Corin Brooks. And also, if you live in the Georgia area or the state of Georgia or live in this area, let me know down in the comments or even in the chat. What else have you heard concerning the story?